Good morning. Our hand today is going to be pocket aces. So in this hand, we're in the small blind. This is 10NL game. Folds around to us. I've got aces. Gonna raise it. I'm going to be raising all of these hands here. So I raise it up to 4. I think that's standard, and this villain calls. Villain's playing 25-11. I say what's interesting is that his big blind stat, VPIP, is 10%, 3 out of 30. His 3-bet by position in the big blind is 0 out of 17. And he said 17 times to raise a 2-bet, but he only called 2 of them and didn't raise at all. He called a 3-bet once. So I actually think he's going to be fairly tight from the big blind. Even he's got position on me. I think he's still going to play tight. His fold to steal stats 50%. So I kind of look at it and say, I do think he would raise. He's not. He can be aggressive. How wide is this raise? Well, this is 4% if he raises queens plus, ace queen plus, and ace king off. This might be a little too tight of a range. So maybe like jacks and 10s, and then maybe this ace queen gets in closer. But I'm going to leave these hands in because I'm not entirely sure what he's going to be playing this with. So we'll leave all of these hands in. So we go to a flop, and we've got king, queen, jack. Not exactly a hand or a flop that I want to see with pocket aces, but this is kind of, it can happen. So it's a tougher situation. So we're out of position. We have the lead. Effective stacks at 96 big blinds. What do we do? I think big part of our strategy will be to be betting. I think we can bet. I think villain's going to hit this hand, this a lot because he is so tight. Now, looser opponent's not going to hit it as much, but I think he's got the king queens, king jacks, queen jacks. Obviously has the aces. He's got, so your open enders. Might have some gut shots. So I do think there's a lot of hands the villain's going to call. So I think we're going to be betting here, betting for value a bit. So let's see what kind of hands we bet for value. So straights, I think sets, 2 pair we bet. I also like to think we're going to be betting our over pair. I think our top pair is probably betting. I think our middle pair is when we start backing off, and then for our bluffs, I think we go for our open ender and possibly our gut shots. Our gut shots are going to be pretty big. So let's see here. It's going to make up a lot of hands because we've got like the 9s and stuff. So I think maybe, let's see if we can pick it out. Maybe not all of the gut shots. It's like those are all like pair plus hands. So I think we're betting those. Maybe like the ace 9. King 9's already betting. Not sure, maybe these are actually going to be check calling. We got the ace 9. How about the 9s, the 9-8? All of these aces. Maybe those are the gut shots. And then we look at like check calling those. Probably pocket pair below the board too, because I think what we're doing is looking to make those a bluff. So the plan, I think, would be this board like favors us, and it should favor us. We've got kings, we've got queens, whereas I don't think they have kings or queens. We both have the straight, so it's not going to be a huge. It's not going to favor us a huge amount, but I think we're going to be a little bit ahead. I think what we'll see is if we check and he bets, we call. Then on the turn we check, planning to fold these hands if he bets, but if he checks behind, then I think on the river we lead out. I think that would be consistent with flopping the straight, flopping a 2-pair. I think at least villain would consider that. I think we are looking at check calling like the rest of these gut shots here, the rest of these 9s. I mean, not the best, because if a 10 comes, any ace is going to beat us, and I do think villain's going to have quite a few aces in his range, so we do have to worry about it. We definitely can't do all backdoor flush draws, but I think we could do some backdoor flush draws, just as a check call. But mostly, if we're going to be check calling, I think we're going to be pretty low, and maybe that's a weakness of my strategy here. So. Let's see what I do. So I checked. So let's say we take those out and we take those out. So if we checked, we also have those no made hands. Villain bets. He bets 8. He could bet a large amount. Let's see what is we have a float bet on here. Nope. So I think we could do. Yeah, he's probably betting straight. Set, 2-pair, overpair, top pair. Maybe middle pair as well. Maybe your bottom pair. We'll give him draws, as he's just betting because, I mean, we check behind. Maybe it's also no made hand. Maybe he's just bluffing. So maybe we include 100% of his range here just as a bluff, and then it comes back to us, and now we drop the no made hand. So we've got something. We've got a fairly narrow range at this point. We got a fairly narrow range, and the only reason I'm ahead is because we made it 100% of his range. So I did call. Turns a 10. I think that's going to change things up. So now with us, we're continuing our check with the plan that if it goes check check, we're going to be betting that river, and we're going to be betting it. Basically, we're turning our hands into a bluff. So here's our hand. Yeah, we've connected with the straight now. Because we had all of those weaker. Well, hold on. No, we shouldn't have. We shouldn't have those. We took those out. Oh, here's my. Oh no, that's him. That's him. Sorry. Yeah, we still have those, like the ace, queen, ace, jack. So yeah, we still have them. So we still check some of those. You can see we've got middle pair and weak pair. I think those are going to be the hands that, if we check and he bets again, we're going to probably have to dump those. And I think the best we're going to be doing is going to be the straight, maybe the 2-pair. Sweet check, villain bets 12. He actually sizes up now. So at that point, I kind of don't think he's got anything other than maybe a straight. Like he's representing a straight. Question is villain bluffing enough? Let's see if I've got any. I don't think most people are going to be bluffing here. They do have the 9, possibility that they have the 9s. So yeah, I think a set and 2-pair just checks here. So I think we're looking at the straight, which means when it comes back to us, we can't call any of those. We don't really have a draw. I think we just have to fold the 2-pair. I think we have to fold the set. So I think we are just calling the straight. And do we call with all of the straight? That's tough. I think we can call. If he bets again, I think we're gonna have to dump the 9. You know, the low end of the straight. So we call. Rivers to 3 hearts. So that doesn't help. We've been checking this entire time. And we should really only have a straight, so I think we just check again. If we have the ace, we're hoping that he's betting the 9. So he bets 40, sizes up again. Yeah, that bet's 100% a straight. And do I think he's got the 9? Maybe there's a possibility that he has the 9. And when it comes time for us, I think what we do is, I don't even think we call. I think we have to get rid of the 9s and just call with the ace, queen, ace, jacks, which makes it, pretty tight. He's got many more combos of aces in his range because we missed our c-bet. So of course I called, and then we see the flop and he shows ace 10. Does he have ace 10 in his range? I believe. No, we didn't include it in his range. So he's a little bit wider here, but it's just another hand. So I think I missed the c-bet. I think this is a board that we're going to be c-betting a lot. I think we hammer this board. I think we have all those underpairs that he could have. So all of these underpairs, I think we bet, we get him to fold. And that's where we're betting. We're not just betting with our good hands and our good draws. I mean, we have draws in there, but we're betting those draws because we're hoping that he folds those and we don't have to hit him. He's got these connectors. Yeah, get him to fold. If we're unpaired, get him to fold. This could be a situation where we could be betting 100%, so we could be betting even our mid and low pair. So with the mid and low pairs, if we bet and get called, and then on that 10, I think we kind of have to back off a little bit because I think the suited aces are pretty common. I think a lot of people play the suited aces. I think we bet our aces. I think we kind of check call with the 9, see what happens. And then if he bets the turn, we call. As I said, check call. But then on the river, if we check and he bets again, I think we just fold the 9s because at that point, most people aren't going to be betting. They hit that 9, the low end of the straights, the showdown hand. So I think if anything, it's that flop. I think it's the flop decision that really hurt us. Let's go back here. When I kind of break it down to the check call, I'm thinking that maybe these are actually bets to represent that we hit this hand hard, which we could. But then that means it's like we're already, I don't know, it's almost 75%. We're going to have a lot of hands in our range. So let's go back to here. If we do all of those, we do our open ender, and if we do our gut shots, we're at 86%. And then when that 10 of hearts comes out, I think at that point, we're betting our straights. We're probably betting our sets too. Our 2 pairs probably a check call. So with the sets, we're hoping that the board would pair at that point. If we bet and get called, we're hoping the board pairs. If we bet and get raised, I think we probably will have to fold. We're not getting the odds, which then you can ask, well, why not just check call? On that, in this situation, if we check and he bets the pot, we're not getting the odds to draw. So it's almost like we're gonna be aggressive because we're also gonna be aggressive with our straight, and the sets almost become kind of a bluff here. I think we call with our 2 pair. Check call with our 2 pair. I think our top pair is going to probably check. So there's really nothing else there. I think we're going to be firing off a bluff with some of these. I think we're going to make some of these low pairs our bluffs. Try to represent that we have the ace. So I think we're looking at betting those straights and sets and kind of turning a set into a bluff a little bit. But also betting those weak pairs. There we go. Maybe those. No, I don't turn my green. I'm trying to get the bluff ranges. Yeah, I think some of our straights might also be a bluff, but I don't know. I think that's what we needed to be. I think we needed to be a little bit more aggressive on the flop. Worked out. I mean, we're checking, we're letting him bet, but we have to know that the opponent is going to be aggressive like this and try to take the pot. We have aces. We flop the gut shot with the overpair. We bet. Ace X is going to call. King 10, King Jack is going to call. Definitely King Queen King Jack is going to call. Queen Jack is going to call. Queen 10 is going to call. Jack 10 is going to call. I think there's a lot of hands that call, so we be aggressive on the flop. Get the values from those hands. The turn wasn't that great. We continue betting with our straights, our sets, and some like really weak hands, hoping that they'll give us credit for the ace. If we get called, then on the river we fire out the bet again with our ace high straight, and that's probably about it. If we don't have that ace high straight or sets, then we check the turn, and we probably called with two pair. Probably, maybe call with the king. If he fires the turn and the river, I think the only hands that we can call is that ace high. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. I'm going to take some notes on this guy. Make sure we have in here that he called pre-flop, called a blind versus blind spot. So BvB. Call 4-bet SB RFI from big blind with ace of hearts 10 spades. So bet half, bet, I think that was 2/3. Bet 75% and then bet 100%. So bet half, bet 50%, bet 75% on a king of spades, queen of diamonds, jack of clubs, 10 of hearts, and 3 of hearts. So he had the straight. All right, took the notes. Hopefully you enjoyed this hand. If you do, look tomorrow for another one.